There are some things that are unique to the decade that we grew up in. The 1970s was no different, having a distinct style that is easily recognizable, even to newer generations. But aside from the obvious disco and bell-bottom trends, there were more minute details that people living during that time will easily recognize. So here are 13 things from the 1970s that kids today would never understand.
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, you guys, I thought this was interesting. 13 things from the 1970s that kids today will never understand. Me being an 80s baby, I see things from the 80s that kids from right now would never understand. But I wanted to check out a generation before me, the 70s. Right. Before that, though, this is extremely important. This is actually the second video I've checked out from this channel, and I think they do a really good job. So this is Recollection Road. Make sure you go over there and check out. They have almost 500,000 subscribers. Help get their subs up. And look, they have a bunch of different, they have 80s, 70s, 60s. They got a bunch of really cool content over there. So I would love for you to go watch this over there or whatever else, because what I'm doing is not a substitute for that. We are going to break this down, have some commentary. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to watch this full video just so there's a little bit left for you guys to go check out over there, because I just think that's probably the right thing to do. I don't know. Also, YouTube's been freaking me out lately with the way they just, I don't know, man, handing out strikes, not resolving things properly, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, look. If any time, and this is for Recollection Road, if there's an issue, just hit me direct, and I have no problem taking something down. It's not that big of a deal, especially since I didn't create this, right? So I'm just keeping it straightforward. Anyways, yeah, I'm Black Pegasus. Link in the description of my other channels. Working on some original content on our family travel vlog channel, and then I'm going to start vlogging more on this channel. And I don't know where this channel is going to go. We're going to just see. It's all experimental. Was enjoying the movie reactions, but I don't know if I could handle the stress from YouTube on that. So let's get it popping. Anyways, let's go, man. This is 13 things from the 1970s kids today will never understand. And I should probably be like 7 things or 8 things, because I won't take their whole list. I'll save it so you guys can go over there and watch it on your own.
13 things from the 1970s that kids today would never understand. Options for watching TV were very different during the 1970s.
Facts.
For one, there were really only 3 TV channels plus public broadcasting. That's right, just 3. No streaming services, no endless options. You'd also have to get up and manually turn the dial to change channels. It was a time in which we waited for our favorite shows, which included nightly shows that were popular and Saturday morning cartoons. It was a big deal when you could pour a big bowl of cereal and binge hours of your favorite animated shows. But with the limited options on the television, it's no wonder kids spent so much time outside. Well, that and the fact that some parents made their kids go outside and play.
Seeing this picture right here is messing with me. And I'm going to tell you guys why. It might not be why you think from the offset, because they all look scared. It's all like frightening. Like, what are they watching? This picture represents the togetherness of the family, right? Having dinner together, going outside together, doing functions together. During the day, Dad went to work, Mom cleaned the house, but at night we came together to eat dinner and watch a show. And, you know, the concept of not having access to television, devices, etc. I live on YouTube, you guys. I live in your device when you watch it and hit play. I don't know. There's just something to this. And I'm part of the generation that had Saturday morning cartoons. So I know, like, I'm like, oh, what's there to break down? I lived that. Even in the 80s, you know, we had Saturday morning cartoons. There wasn't, like, you could come home after school and I think maybe Thundercats, Smurfs. It was just limited, you know. And as time derived, you had Saved by the Bell, and there were more shows that were kid-friendly. But essentially, you didn't have just like all of this content to consume all of the time. We really have moved more towards a comfortable society. everything. Back then, you had to roll up your windows. Now cars drive themselves.
During the 70s, making a mixtape was an art form. It
Bro.
took patience and dedication to sit by the radio for hours, waiting for the right song to be played. It didn't matter how good your timing was either, because pushing down the play and record buttons at precisely the right time still sometimes had the DJ talking over the intro. And that was just part of the charm. Cassettes had their quirks too, like when they got tangled and you would have to use a pencil to wind them back in. Cassettes made it pretty easy to create what we know today as a playlist, and this was the first time we could listen anywhere we wanted.
That's a good call. You know, I recorded a bunch of stuff. So my era, I didn't have to do that. I did record stuff from the radio, but I didn't have to because we also had CDs, and we would make mixtapes, cassette tapes for girls. So we'd take our CDs, you'd get like R. Kelly, Keith Sweat, and tell your homie, like, hey, can I borrow your CD? And you record these tapes, and then the girls that you were dating or liked, you'd give them these tapes and try to, you know what I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm saying? Hold on, dog. Hold on, man.
Hold up. Hey.
Welcome to the Players Club. Yeah, man, mixtapes were a thing. My first recorded demo was on a cassette tape. Straight up. I mean, look behind me. This is a legit boombox with a cassette tape in it. You know what I'm saying? It's actually standing on a reel-to-reel that's broken. This right here, it's sitting on top of a reel-to-reel that's broken.
Did you ever run around the house and pretend you were Superman or Batman? Well, if you did during the 1970s, then you most likely had on a pair of superhero Underoos. For many kids, they served a dual purpose. They were underwear and part of a costume when you were strutting around the house, feeling invincible. Superhero Underoos were more than just clothing. They were your identity, especially the ones that matched the actual superhero outfits. Nowadays, kids can never appreciate their underwear in the same way.
Yeah, nowadays there's 500 movies oversaturating what a superhero even is. And now superheroes are soft as hell and there's weird shit going on in the movies. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Superheroes ain't even the same anymore. Damn, I feel like an old man, a grumpy-ass old man now.
Recollection Road is proud to partner with Life Story Pro. Watch until the end of this video to learn more about preserving your loved one's stories in a beautifully printed book, which makes the perfect gift. Visit lifestorypro.com/recollection to get started.
I left that in there purposely, you guys, because I'm watching their content, and the least I could do is, rock with whatever is helping their channel gain some type of, monetary gain. So shout out to Recollection Road. Please don't hate on your boy.
During the 1970s, record stores were not just places to buy music. They were social gathering spots.
Facts.
Just like the mall of the 1980s.
Facts.
Young people would hang out with friends, browse through vinyl records, and even listen to albums before they purchased them. Store employees at this time were also music enthusiasts, and they would recommend hidden gems. It also wasn't uncommon for you to strike up a conversation with a stranger who was into the same music as you. So the local record store was a special place, and yet another experience that is hard to replicate today.
Yeah, I mean, the record store, I'd go to record stores, they had records, but by my age, it was a lot of CDs, right? CDs and DVDs. So different because I'm like 10 years behind all this, you know what I'm saying? But that was the truth. Wonder if they're about to start talking about hitchhiking, because that was a thing when I was. It's just so weird how so many things have changed in culture and society, just in general. It's actually somewhat scary to me at times.
So the local record store was a special place, and yet another experience that is hard to replicate today. Hitchhiking during the 1970s was surprisingly easy and acceptable. It was very common to see people thumbing a ride on the side of the road. Drivers would often not hesitate to pick up hitchhikers, and it was seen as a way to help out a fellow traveler. There was more of a sense of camaraderie on the open road back then, and that's hard to understand in today's world. But it wasn't without risk, and there was still a chance you might encounter a few weirdos, and that was just part of the fun. Nowadays, it's illegal to hitch free rides in many places, but back then, it wasn't unusual to find a service member, a student, or even a hippie thumbing for a ride.
What's crazy about that is I didn't know that it's illegal in some places, and I did know it was a culture because it was still going on when I was a little bit younger, but just I don't know what changed that. I would guess like these maybe serial killers and stuff, like the Zodiac killer and weird stuff, because you got to think like in that video, just in those clips, you're seeing actually like somewhat attractive people hitchhiking. And now it seems like the only people hitchhiking are like the people, and I don't want to say bottom of the barrel because I'm not trying to disparage people, but like basically homeless people, vagrants. Like you never see like some hot chick or hot dude just on the hood like, hey, like the only time you really see something like that is when they need help and they're like, hey, I need to fix a tire or something. So I don't know. But the culture of hitchhiking has absolutely changed, but the culture of America has changed, man. There's so many weird things going on that you kind of have to worry about at some capacity. So, yeah.
When you think back to the 1970s, men had some serious style. They had manly mustaches, sideburns, big hair, and that distinct aroma of aftershave wafting around them. It was all about the macho look.
The Tom Selleck. That's what I used to call it, the Tom Selleck mustache. Yeah. Everything was, my mom would be like, hey, I'll put hair on your chest. Now it's the total opposite all is. Super masculinity back then, super femininity now. It's crazy to me. That's why I like these crazy classic movies. Wish I could still react to them here. We'll see. But yeah, that's wild.
And men took their grooming pretty seriously. This was also coupled with some pretty bold choices in clothing too. And as long as you could leave a couple of buttons undone so you could show off your hairy chest, you were good to go. Nothing quite matches the swagger men had in the 1970s. And speaking of grooming, ladies too had their own unique products to give them that 1970s look. Sun-In was all the rage, promising sun-kissed highlights. Women would spray it into their hair and head outside hoping for those perfect golden locks. And who doesn't remember the smell of Love's Baby Soft, a signature scent from the 1970s? The sweet, youthful fragrance was a defining smell that had all the girls wearing Baby Soft. But I'm not sure the ad campaign would fly today.
Oh my God. Yo, that's insane. Love's Baby Soft because innocence is sexier than you think. Okay. I don't know about these products. All this stuff, this is actually new to me. I never heard or, dabbled with any of these products. What I will say is I'm just going to say it. Hold on, man. Hold up, dog.
Hold up. Hey.
Welcome to the Players Club. Anyways, yo, if you've ever, and this is more so for men, but women too, I guess, can play along. From the 70s, go back and look at Playboy from the 70s. And I think around the 2000s, the way women groomed themselves in certain areas has changed dramatically.
Hold up. Hey.
I'm just saying. I'm just making an observation from lived experience. Anyway, I don't think I'm mad at that change. Yo. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's see what's up. We'll do maybe one more, maybe two more. I want to leave some of this video on the original channel so you can go watch the rest of the, I don't want to do all 13 things.
When the telephone that hung in the kitchen rang, it was always answered. This was before caller ID, so people had no idea who was calling. Can you imagine? You didn't know if it was your best friend or a sales call, which meant there was a chance that you might recognize the voice on the other end and spend some time getting twisted up in the phone cord while you talked. Or you might be yelling across the house to let someone else know the call was for them. Today's kids might find it unbelievable that we willingly picked up the phone without the slightest clue as to who was on the other end. To best capture...
All right, I'm going to stop it here so you guys can go check out the rest of this video on their channel because, they took time to create this, and it's a really good video. that last one got me in my feels because I was from the generation. Our phone didn't have caller ID, didn't have call waiting. And I remember we were like the last. I don't know if we were just cheap or my parents couldn't afford it, but we were one of the last to adopt call waiting and all that stuff, right? So you had to answer, and if someone was on the phone and they called your house, they'd get a busy signal, right? So like if it was important, you'd stress out. Also, I can't remember all the countless nights, calling my girlfriend or a girl I wanted to talk to and it being busy, or calling and her dad picking up. Yeah, who's this? The barriers to entry to courting a female back then were different. You had to talk to their dad. There wasn't no text message. It's like you called a house and dad or mom answers, you got to talk to them. And so actually that little segment made me realize how even just technology has made things so much easier for people to do. Again, goes back to the comfort thing. But I also think about just the barriers of entry to little societal things that are, like, in my opinion, important. Like the father playing a role in vetting who his daughter is dating. Kind of wild when you really think about it. Anyways, I remember when Star 69 came out, Star 67, then Caller ID. And all my friends had it before me, so I was just like looking like a jackass, but it was still like, oh, did you know this person called you? I had a pager. I had a beeper, you guys. Yeah, I was out there like that, for sure. Anyways, it looks like they're about to get into pictures, Polaroids, right? And how we went from Polaroids to taking pictures, getting the film developed. Now it's just like, bro, I can film a legit movie in 4K from this. I film the majority of my vlogs in 4K from the phone. It's crazy. It is crazy. I don't know what they're going to go into next because I'm not aware of what they had in the 70s like that. But this was enough to get me going, Yeah, man. Anyways, I don't know how many we went over. Let's look. So I could, looks like, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll put 8 things. I'll be like, 8 things from the 70s. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Anyways, let me know what I got, what I missed. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
City boy, city boy.